Well, the new coalition of government has announced an Academies bill, which I suppose Gove keeps his word because it puts rocket boosters under the Academy programme. It allows any school to apply to opt out of local authority control and become Academy. It pre-approves all the so-called outstanding schools in the country, of which there are several thousand, to become Academies, and therefore will rapidly accelerate the division of our schools into the best, i.e. the Academies, and the rest. So I'm very concerned about the proposals. It's clear that they are still peddling the myth that Academies are somehow a method for improving schools, despite the legion of evidence that contradicts that. Some Academies do very well, but some Academies fail, just as happens in the maintained sector. But facts don't bother the government. They're expanding the Academies programme. The real agenda behind this is to A, enable greater privatisation of state education, but also B, and much more cynically I think, is to create social segregation. I think it's an explicit policy in the Academies bill, is to create this notion of there are the best schools, which are the Academies, and the rest, and that is serious social segregation. As the OECD has commented, where you have different types of schools, you get greater social segregation, and we now have a plethora of different types of schools in this country and increasing social segregation in our education system. That's why there's a long tail of underachievement, and these proposals will do nothing to solve that problem. The other thing I'm concerned about is the proposals for new schools. These are as Tristram Hunt described them, a fantasy project for yummy mummies. They are a attempt to use parents to shoehorn in an increase in private providers into the education system. It's all portrayed as being something to do with giving parents more power over education. It's nothing of the sort. All these new school proposals are about levering in private providers, companies like Serco, GEMS, VT Education, giving them greater market share in the education system. These people want to run schools for profit. They can't yet, but they want to run schools for profit, and it heralds the further diversification of education, the further privatisation and deregulation. This can only be bad for our children. It won't improve standards, and it will damage social cohesion in our society. What should be done about this? Well, the Anti-Academies Alliance is already writing to all head teachers, urging them just to say no to Academy status. We will be organising public meetings in areas where there are attempts to set up new schools, and we'll be working with trade unions where we hope that unions will urge their members to refuse Academy status and if necessary, unfortunately, to take strike action to stop that. We believe state education is something worth fighting for, just as the NHS and council housing are things that we rely on in our society to ensure that it's not grossly unfair and grossly unequal. State education is part of that process, and to rip it up in such a cavalier fashion, in a way that, the government think they've got some sort of mandate for this, but I should remind Gove that there's no mandate. The Liberal Democrat Party are against Academies. They said so at their 2008 conference. Many Lib Dem MPs have said so on record, and we think that they should stick to their guns and oppose the Academy proposal and bring this bill down. So we're urging MPs of all parties to vote against the Academies bill and to defend state education.